Hey everyone, I'm Evangeline right here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the Napier Backroadz Tent. This is going to be a truck tent available in different sizes for different trucks as well as different colors right here at eTrailer. Now, I did do an overview of the Napier line just to help you figure out what is the right Napier tent for you. But if you're curious about specifically the Napier Backroadz, well, today we'll be talking about the different features, why it's different from the Sportz Truck Tent, and I'll also show you how to get this all installed and assembled. This tent is going to be great for people that are really into camping, but they also have a truck. Now ideally, since this is going to install into the bed of your truck, this is not for someone that has it loaded up with all kinds of heavy things that they're not ready to take out. But if you're going on a trip and you want to combine your two favorite things, the outdoors and your truck, this is going to be a great way to do so. Now this is a two-person tent, but the amount of actual space that you have inside this tent is dependent on your truck bed size. So double check, use our fit guide here at etrailer.com where we put in the year, make, model of your truck, select your bed size, and then our website will help guide you to the correct fit for you. Now, if you have a truck with a camper shell or you have a roof rack, things like that, you might be already used to the concept of truck tent camping. This is going to be a little bit different though. And the main thing that stood out to me was that I can stand up inside the tent. So you have a center height here ranging from 4 feet 8 inches all the way up to 5'2", which is about where it is right now. And that's going to be something that's very unique. If you need to change inside your tent, if you need to organize, maybe make this like a base camp, having all this extra room from the safety of your truck bed is something that is very unique. Now with this, you do have also the other features of a normal tent, which is water resistant material. You have a rain fly included if it does rain, as well as this bathtub style floor, meaning if your truck bed does have water, does have mud, that's okay. This floor completely covers the truck bed and seals your tent out, making sure that all that water and debris does not come inside. This is technically a 3-season tent, spring, summer, and fall, but I really think that this tent shines during the warmer months because you have a lot of ventilation with this tent. You have the option of 2 mesh windows. You have a ventilation vent in the roof of the tent, and then you also have your door, which could be converted into a mesh door. This has a really fine mesh, which means that you can keep all the bugs and the critters out of your tent. As a tent, while I do think it has everything you'd expect from a tent, like a little carabiner up top to attach your light, you also have the option to switch between those windows or those doors, the rain fly, things like that. I personally still bring more things when I go on my camping trips because with truck bed tents, while this is almost like a fully sealed tent, you are setting it up on your rough truck bed. So I bring things like the eTrailer patio mat. Their smaller RV mat is almost a perfect size for this truck. Also, Napier does have air mattresses that fit into the truck, something worth considering. They have a compact as well as a full size, and things like that, along with your sleeping bags, your blankets, are all things worth considering in addition to your tent. Now, while I did say it checks off pretty much all the boxes that I would expect from a tent, sometimes you want a little bit more. And that's when you then compare the Backroadz Truck Tents with the Sportz Truck Tents. So the Sportz series is going to be the premium line from Napier. And some of the differences are the waterproofness of the material. The Backroadz tent has a 1500 millimeter waterproof rating, meaning it can handle 1500 millimeters of water before water leaks through. That's going to be the base rating for waterproofness, pretty common in almost all of your ground tents. The Sportz tent will be a little bit more at 2,000 millimeters. You also have different features like the Sportz tent has another window up by the cab, and it has an awning on the rain fly if you need a little bit of extra shade. So the Sportz tent will just give you a little bit more features and a little bit more waterproofness, and it has an expandable bag to make it easier to push back into the bag when you need to pack things up. So if possible, I do recommend investing in the Sportz tent because of those extra features, but it is going to be a bit heavier than the Backroadz tent. So it really does depend on, do you need those extra features? Do you really want them? Or do you want the more streamlined, sleek, as well as pared down version that again checks off almost all the boxes for a good tent? Now don't get me wrong, I really do enjoy this tent. If I had a truck, this is something I'd look into, especially with how easy it is to set up, and it also packs down really small into a bag. Now the packing down part is when I would highly consider the Sportz tent, just because I struggle with rolling up tents and packing them up tightly enough to fit back into that bag. But other than that, it's a solid tent, works great, is made very nicely, high quality stitching, things like that. So if you are looking for a tent camping option for your truck adventures, this is definitely something worth looking into. Again, this is available in different colors as well. So if you want it in, let's say, camo, that's actually an option for you right here at eTrailer. Now, I did talk about how easy this is to assemble. So if you're curious about how I got this put together, stick around and we'll find out. We're going to start with setting up the tent. Now this is a very simple process, a lot easier if you have a second person, but still doable on your own. Now my recommendation is just go ahead and set this up away from the truck and then load it up onto the truck later, much easier that way. Start by laying out your tent and setting up your tent poles. You're gonna have 4 poles. So 1 and 2 black poles, which are gonna be your diagonal ones. You're gonna have your gray pole, and then you're gonna have your green pole. Once those are set up, go and figure out on your tent exactly where you need to orient yourself. The orientation is a lot easier to see on the Backroadz tent because there's gonna be a mesh door that's gonna be your tailgate side. And then you're gonna have just a flat wall for the cab side. Now, honestly, it doesn't really matter if you are setting it up on the ground first because you can always move the tent around for the truck. So then start by inserting your black diagonal poles. These fit through the green sleeves, so just push them through. Don't worry about clipping them in just yet. Then get your green pole, and this fits right there between the 2 diagonal poles and goes from the front to the back. The final one is the long gray pole, which goes along the tailgate side. Now attach the poles into their pockets, starting with the green pole. This one has 2 green pockets in the front and the back. Next up are the black diagonal poles, and this is gonna be the fun one because this is when you'll start seeing the tent take shape. My recommendation for this one is if it is windy outside, take care to stay low and don't let the tent lift up too high or else it will catch wind. So go and attach on each corner. Finishing up with the gray tailgate pole, also going into gray pockets, and now it's really looking like a tent. You can now attach all the different clips to those tent poles that you set up. I brought the truck right back in so that we can now hoist the tent up and onto the truck bed. Again, making sure you have the cab side and the tailgate side facing the right way. We're gonna lift this up and over, and then we're going to get these tent poles and make sure they are sitting here on the end. Up by the cab, we're going to then get our elastic strap, make sure it goes over that edge, and then we're going to secure that end with this hook. Find a good spot along your bed frame to secure that too. For the tailgate side where you have your tailgate pole, you're going to want to install that pole around or outside your tailgate cable, which may involve taking it out of its pocket, putting it around, and then putting it back in again like we see here. This way you reduce the stress on that cable. Underneath the tailgate, you're also going to feed this elastic buckle. You may have to lift the tailgate up in order to get that plastic piece through that corner. But then you're going to connect that buckle and then tighten that down too. There's gonna be 2 of these, 1 on each side. And with that, you should be all done. So quick checklist of everything. Make sure on each side of the truck, you've secured your 3 straps. If you find that the straps might seem like they're making contact too much with your finish, you can get the separate Napier strap protectors, which have a softer texture to them. Double check that your tailgate pole is outside of your cable and also that your tailgate straps are secured. And you could be done there, or you could attach the rainfly as well. Now, the Backroadz rainfly is different from the Sport series rainfly. The Sportz rainfly has an extra awning on that rainfly, which gives a little bit of extra shade. The Backroadz does not have that feature, so for that reason alone, I usually choose to not install that rainfly because I would really only need it if it was to rain. But if you were to install it, that just goes over your tent, lines up with a cab as well as the tailgate. There's 2 separate sides, and then you just buckle it in with the buckles that are already on your tent. So with that, we are finished with the setup. Now, I shot this video right here in our studio so that we can get a closer look at all of the different features here in our light. But if you want to see this being used outside, check out my overview video of the Napier brand, and you can also see the other tents that Napier makes. So if you're curious about any of those, or like our SUV tents, or the air mattress I mentioned, the RV mat, or even camping lights to put in your tent, you can find them all here at eTrailer, or give us a call. A lot of my friends that looked at this tent will be the ones answering your questions if you call them up, and our goal is to help you find the right fit for your adventure. But today, what you saw was the Napier Backroadz Truck Tent, available in different truck sizes as well as different color varieties at etrailer.com. By the way, my name's Evangeline, and I hope you enjoyed this journey.